The Geek GK61 may be the winner for the best budget gaming keyboard on the market right now, but does it compare to the RK61, which is around the same price? So stay tuned for the review of the GK61 and wait until the end of the video to hear the score and how I feel it compares to the RK61. Thanks to Banggood for sending out this keyboard to review and also giving me a coupon code so you guys can get some money off this keyboard if you end up buying it. If you do end up deciding to buy this keyboard, make sure to use the links in the description below as it will help me out a lot. So I'm not going to compare the RK61 and the GK61 fully in depth in this video, so be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, and I will post that video in the near future, maybe in a little while. I don't know, I'm not the best at uploading, so just make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you do get notified when I do post that video. Eventually I will post it, trust me. The Geek GK61 comes in at around $60 US, depending on if it's on sale or not and if you use my coupon code. The GK61 does come in a lot of different versions, so this is the Geek GK61. It is hot swappable and has Gateron optical switches. I'm pretty sure it comes in a version where it is hot swappable for regular switches, but it doesn't come with any switches or keycaps, so it'll probably cost about twice as much as this keyboard. The one I have here has Gateron optical red switches, but it also comes in a bunch of different optical switches from Gateron, like red, yellow, brown, and all those different ones, and you can also replace them for any optical switch that you want, but you can't use any regular switches on this keyboard, so remember that if you're planning to use like Zelios or any MX style switch, it won't work unless it's optical. The GK61 comes with a keycap puller, a switch puller, a quick start guide, and something I haven't seen on even more expensive keyboards is a braided USB-C cable, which is really good quality and really nice to see that they included. Since it is hot swappable, you can change out the switches on this keyboard for any optical switch, which tend to be a lot cheaper than regular mechanical switches because they don't have any metal or anything in them. All it does is block the two sensors in order to register a key press. But you can't use any regular electrical switch on this keyboard, which makes sense because it is an optical keyboard. Speaking of optical switches, they're supposed to be slightly faster than regular electrical switches, but they also are supposed to last twice as long as regular switches. But I don't know about you, but I've never had a switch die on me, so I don't know how much of a factor that is for regular people. But twice as long, you can't really go wrong with that. They do feel smoother to me than regular red switches, but they also sound kind of weird. Just overall, they're a lot louder compared to regular red switches, even though they do feel a bit better. Some people have noticed that if you shake the keyboard, you can hear the keys kind of rattling. It doesn't really affect the build quality of the keyboard. I think it just has something to do with the optical switches. That's just what I've heard, but it is something to note. The stabilizers are pre-lubed and feel really nice to type on, but like I was saying before, they're still pretty loud because of the optical switches. I think other than that, they do feel really nice to type on, so I don't really have any complaints because I usually have my headphones on and am listening to something, so I don't really care too much about the sound, I just really care how they feel. So here's a sound test between the optical reds on the GK61 and the Cherry MX reds on the Ducky Maya, just so you can hear the difference. So let's just get right into that. Now onto the case. It is made of plastic and is pretty similar to the one found on the AN Pro 2 and RK61, as it does not have any feet to raise the angle of the keyboard, but it is also very good quality and already at a great angle for typing and gaming. The keycaps are made of ABS plastic and have a slight matte coating on the tops of them to help with fingerprints. Although they're not made of PBT plastic, I haven't really noticed, and they're really good quality and add to the sleek design of this keyboard. To take full control of the RGB, you're going to need the software, which I will leave a link for in the description below. I like to use my keyboard in static mode, which is just one full color. I don't really like the effects on the keyboards because I don't really like all that motion in the keyboard. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't look as clean to me as just a static color. And to change that, you're gonna need the software, because for some reason you can't change the color of the static on the keyboard itself. You have to go to the software. Speaking of the software, it does take some time to learn, but once you do, it offers a lot of customization. You can save the different RGB functions and everything that you do on the software to different profiles on the keyboard. So if you go to a computer that doesn't have the software, it will still be saved on the keyboard itself. It has 3 different profiles that you can change on the software. By pressing function W, E, and R, you can cycle through them on the keyboard. I haven't really used any of the different profiles yet. I've just stuck with the default which it came with, and I like it so far. I haven't really changed anything in the software besides the RGB, so I'm not exactly sure how well the layers work on this keyboard. To use the arrow keys, you just press function and the keys with the arrow keys marked on them, or by default, if you press function W, you can just use the arrow keys without pressing function. Overall though, the RGB is pretty dim and not as bright as I would like, but it's still pretty good though. So overall, I do think that this keyboard is slightly better than the RK61, and with it being hot swappable at this price, it's kind of unreal about how good this keyboard actually is. For a score, I would give it a 7.4, only because you can only use optical switches, and it kind of, I don't know, that rattle kind of messes with me a little bit, and the RGB is pretty dim. Also, the software is kind of hard to get used to. But overall, it's such a good keyboard, and I kind of had to look for a little while to see some negatives that I could find on this keyboard. Given the price of this keyboard, it's so cheap that it has so many features packed into it that I haven't even really learned all of them. And again, given how cheap it is, especially with my coupon code, it's kind of insane how good this keyboard actually is. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, join my Discord channel and follow me on Twitter at JustinTechTV, and I'll see you guys in the next video.